How did one funny joke at a fancy client dinner turn into a security guard handing me a folder in the lobby while everyone watched? Why did my husband stay calm, say nothing, and still make sure the result started that same day? Can I still call him the villain when the legal words land in my hands like a final stamp? My name is Avis Dalton. I was 34, and I worked as a client support lead in a small marketing agency. People said I was good with people. I believed that meant I was right most of the time. At home, I also believed I was the only one who understood how life should look: clean, busy, successful, not messy with little projects everywhere. Ethan was my husband. He was 36, and he built things in the garage. He called it design. He said he made prototypes for tabletop games and small wooden pieces that could become a real product line. I called it a hobby. I told myself I was being practical. I also told myself he needed pressure, because pressure makes people grow. I still think that now. That Tuesday started like many others. The kids ate cereal at the kitchen counter. Maya asked if she could bring her art folder to school. I said yes, and I reminded her not to bend the corners. Noah spilled milk and looked at me like it was a test. I told him it was okay, but I wiped the counter too fast. Ethan stood near the sink, holding his own mug, the one with the chipped handle. My mug was already on the other side of the counter. We had started doing that without saying it out loud. Ethan asked if I could come to the garage later and look at something. He said he needed a quick opinion. I asked why he needed my opinion if he always did what he wanted. He said he just wanted support. I told him support did not mean applause. I said real support meant honesty. He looked at the kids and then at the floor, like he was choosing his words carefully. He asked if we could talk when the kids were not listening. I said we had no time, because real adults had schedules. After school drop-off, I went to work. My phone buzzed in my bag, and I felt that small pull, that quick warm feeling, like a secret candy in my pocket. It was Brent again. Brent worked in sales for a partner company. He had learned how to make me feel seen with 2 lines of text. He had asked if I was free for coffee later. I said I would try. I told myself coffee was normal. I also told myself Ethan had pushed me into needing it. That was the story I liked. At the office, I did my job well. I answered client emails fast. I fixed problems before they became big. When my manager walked by, he nodded at me like I was the responsible one. That feeling mattered to me. It was simple. If I did good work, I deserved comfort. That is how I thought. When I looked at Ethan's messages asking about dinner plans, I felt annoyed, like he was asking for more than he earned. That evening, we ate pasta at home. Ethan tried again. He asked if we could talk after the kids slept. I said fine. The word fine sounded like I was doing him a favor. He asked why I had been so sharp lately. He said my jokes about his projects felt mean. I said he was too sensitive. I said he always made himself the victim. He asked what joke I meant. I said he knew exactly what I meant and he was pretending. That was how I worked. If he named the moment, I could not dodge it. So I acted like it was vague. Later, when the kids were in bed, Ethan led me to the garage. He turned on the bright overhead light. The garage smelled like cut wood and glue. His workbench was neat in a careful way, like he tried to hide how much it mattered. He showed me a small wooden frame with pieces that clicked into place. He said it was a sample for a client meeting he hoped to get soon. He said people with money liked a story, and he wanted his story to feel real. I laughed. Not a big laugh, just a small one that landed hard. I told him it looked like something a teenager would sell at a school fair. He asked why I always spoke like that. I said it was a joke. He said it did not feel like a joke. I said his feelings were his problem. He asked if I would speak like that in front of other people. I said I would never embarrass him in public, and I said he was being dramatic for even asking. Ethan pointed to a folder on a shelf. It was labeled Bank. Next to it were Utilities and Household. He said he had been organizing things because we needed to be more serious. He said he wanted us to plan better. I told him it was funny that he could label folders, but could not label his own priorities. He asked what I meant. I said he chose the garage over the family. He said he was trying to build something for the family. I said if it was truly for us, it would already be making money. He looked at me for a long second. He asked if I even liked him anymore. I said he was fishing for pity. Then his phone chimed from the workbench. He glanced at it and turned it face down. I saw the screen for 1 second. It was a calendar alert. It said, "Meeting, personal," and it had a time attached. I did not see a name, just that plain label. It annoyed me. I did not like not knowing things. Ethan asked if we could stop fighting tonight. I said I was not fighting. I was being honest. He said honesty without care was just cruelty. I told him he was trying to control my tone because he could not control his own life. He took a breath and asked me to promise something simple. He asked me not to mock his work in front of other people, especially people who might become clients. He said it could ruin things before they started. I said he was blaming me for his fear. I said if his client dream was that fragile, maybe it deserved to fail. He went very quiet. That quiet made me angry because it did not give me anything to push against. When we went back inside, I saw a printer tray open near the hallway desk. A blank sheet sat there like it had just been pushed out and forgotten. Ethan did not print at night often. I asked what he was doing with the printer. He said it was nothing. I asked why nothing needed paper. He said he made a mistake and it was not important. I told him he was secretive lately. He asked how he could be secretive when I checked everything anyway. I said I checked because he gave me reasons. In the kitchen, I rinsed my mug and put it on my side of the counter. Ethan rinsed his and set it on the other side again. We did not talk about it. I looked at his back and told myself he was sulking to punish me. I told myself I was the only one keeping this family running. I also told myself that if he wanted respect, he needed results first. Respect follows results. That was my rule. I went to bed with my phone under my pillow. A new message buzzed, and the screen lit up my hand. Brent asked if tomorrow worked better. I stared at the words and felt calm. In the hallway, a door clicked softly, like Ethan had closed the garage door again from inside. I listened, and I told myself he was being childish. Then I remembered that calendar alert, meeting, personal, and I felt a sharp, cold question form in my chest. The next day, I woke up before Ethan. I checked my phone first. Brent had answered. He said lunchtime was better, and he knew a quiet place near the parking garage. I told myself it was harmless. I also told myself Ethan had forced this distance by being boring. That is what I like to believe. In the kitchen, Ethan moved around like he was careful not to touch me by mistake. He asked if I slept okay. I said yes. He asked if I could help with school drop-off. I said I had an early call. He looked at my face like he was trying to see if the call was real. I asked why he stared. He said he was just tired. I said he always acted tired when he wanted sympathy. Maya came in with her backpack half open. She asked if I could braid her hair. I said I had no time and I told her to ask her dad. Ethan did it quietly. Noah tried to climb onto a chair and almost fell. Ethan caught him. I saw how fast Ethan's hands moved, and for a moment I felt something like guilt. Then I pushed it away. I told myself that one good moment did not erase his flaws. At work, I stayed busy on purpose. Busy made me feel clean. When I was busy, I did not have to think about why my chest felt tight at home. I answered emails and fixed a billing issue for a client. My manager asked if I could cover a meeting later. I said yes right away. I liked being needed. Around 11, Brent sent another message. He asked if I was still coming. I said yes. My heart kicked like a small engine. I told Kara in a group chat that I was going for a quick lunch alone. Kara sent a laughing emoji and told me I deserved fun. I told myself that was permission. I left the office and went down to the parking garage. The air there smelled like oil and cold concrete. Brent's car was already backed into a corner spot, like he did not want anyone to see the plate. He waved like we were old friends. He asked if I looked stressed. I said Ethan was being impossible again. Brent said Ethan sounded insecure. I liked hearing that. It made my choices feel smart instead of messy. We walked to a small cafe nearby. It was not romantic. It was plain, with loud machines and bright lights. That helped me pretend it was normal. Brent asked what Ethan did all night in the garage. I said he played with toys and acted like an artist. Brent asked if Ethan made real money. I said not enough. Brent said I carried the whole marriage. I said yes, and I let the word sit there like a trophy. Brent asked if I ever thought about leaving. I said I could, if I wanted. I said Ethan would fall apart without me. Brent said I deserved a man with ambition. I told him Ethan had ambition, but it was childish ambition. Brent laughed. People at another table looked over, and I lowered my voice, but I still felt proud. I liked being the woman with a story. After lunch, Brent walked me back toward the garage. He asked if I wanted to meet again soon. I said I would see. I made it sound like I had control. Then I went back to work and forced my face into the right expression, like nothing happened. Later that afternoon, my manager asked me to update my timesheet because a client needed details for billing. I opened the spreadsheet and stared at the rows. I had written client calls on days when I had stepped out. I had written late meeting on nights when I had not been in the office. I told myself it was fine because I still did my work. I changed a few lines and saved it. The file name was plain, and I was glad for that. Plain names made lies easier. When I got home, Ethan was in the living room with the kids. A cartoon played softly. Maya was coloring. Noah was building a tower. Ethan looked up and asked how my day was. I said it was busy. He asked what made it busy. I said clients. He asked which clients. I said he was doing it again. He said he was not doing anything. He was just asking. I said his questions felt like an interrogation. He asked if I wanted him to stop asking. I said yes, because trust should be free. He nodded once, like he accepted my rule. Then he walked to the kitchen and opened a drawer. I heard a small click, like a lock. That made me pause. Ethan never locked anything before. He took out a key ring and added a new key. He did it without looking at me. I asked what the new key was for. He said it was for storage. I asked what storage. He said just storage. His voice stayed calm. Calm can feel like a wall. That night, while the kids brushed their teeth, I went into the garage. I wanted to see what he was hiding. His workbench looked cleaner than yesterday. A single USB sat near a taxes folder, labeled with a date and marker. I touched it and then pulled my hand back. I did not want fingerprints. I do not know why I thought that. It was just a thought that appeared and made me feel smart. Ethan came in and asked what I was doing. I said I was checking if he had put tools away safely, because the kids could get hurt. He said the kids never came into the garage without him. I said he could not be too careful. He asked if I was scared of something. I said I was scared of his obsession taking over our life. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted a husband who did not act like a teenager with glue and scraps. He looked at a shelf where the labeled folders sat. Household. Utilities. Bank. He did not touch them, but his eyes went there like they mattered. He asked if I could stop calling his work childish. I said he was asking me to lie. I said I would not lie to protect his ego. He said there was a difference between lying and being kind. I said kindness was earned. He went back inside. I stayed in the garage for another minute and listened. In the house, I heard a faint hum, like a shredder running for a short moment. It stopped. The silence after felt heavier. In bed, Ethan stayed on the far edge of the mattress. He asked if we could try counseling. I said counseling was for couples who both made mistakes, and I said he was the one making problems. He asked if I thought I made no mistakes at all. I said my only mistake was caring too much. He turned his face away and did not answer. I lay there and stared at the ceiling. I told myself I was still the good one. I told myself Ethan was becoming cold to punish me. Then my phone buzzed again under the pillow. Brent had sent a short message. He asked if I missed him yet. I did not answer right away, but I held the phone close, like it was warmth I deserved. I started living like I had two lives. At work, I was the stable one. At home, I was the judge. And with Brent, I felt like a different person, like I could breathe. I told myself it was not cheating in my heart because my heart was already hurt. That was my excuse. I used it like a shield. On Thursday, Kara texted me and said we needed a rooftop drink. She said I looked tired and I deserved a night where I was not someone's unpaid therapist. I knew who she meant. I said yes right away. I did not ask Ethan how his day was. I just told him I had plans. He asked where I was going. I said I was meeting friends. He asked who. I said Kara and a few others. He asked when I would be home. I said he was acting like my father. He said he just needed to plan for the kids. I said he could handle one evening alone. He nodded and said okay. That calm answer made me feel annoyed, like he was refusing to play the role I wanted. Before I left, I checked my makeup in the bathroom mirror. I looked at my own face like it was a brand. Then I saw Ethan in the hallway, helping Noah tie his shoes. Noah asked if Mum was coming to tuck him in. Ethan said he would do it tonight. Maya stood near her bedroom door and watched me like she wanted to ask something. I asked what she wanted. She said nothing. I told myself kids were dramatic too. The rooftop bar was loud and bright. The city looked clean from up there, like nothing messy could touch us. Kara waved me over. Tori was there too, and two other women from our circle. They had drinks already. Kara asked how my garage boy was doing. I rolled my eyes. That made them laugh. I felt power in that laugh. They asked what Ethan was working on now. I said he was building another little board game thing, like he thought a toy could pay our bills. Kara asked if he still called it a business. I said yes, and I said he acted like a genius in a shed. Tori asked if he really took it that seriously. I said he even labeled folders like he was running a company. I told them about utilities and bank, and how proud he looked when he stacked them. They laughed harder. I laughed too, but inside, I felt a strange heat, like I was burning something and enjoying the smell. Kara said I should stop being so supportive and start being honest. I told her I was honest all the time, and Ethan hated it. Tori asked if Ethan ever blamed me for his stress. I said yes, and I said he tried to make me feel guilty for wanting a normal life. That part was not fully true, but it sounded good. When you tell a story with confidence, people follow it. I liked that. Tori lifted her phone and said she wanted a quick clip, just, girls' night. I said sure. She asked what my biggest marriage struggle was. I said, smiling, that my husband thought glue and wooden pieces were a career. I said it like a joke. Everyone laughed. Tori said it was hilarious and she posted it. I watched the upload bar fill. I felt like I had placed a flag on the day. My phone buzzed while I was watching. It was Brent. He asked how my night was. I told him it was fun. He said he wished he was there. I did not answer that directly. I told myself I was being careful. I also told myself careful meant I was still a good person. When I got home, Ethan was sitting on the couch with a book open, but I did not think he was reading. He asked if I had a good time. I said yes. He asked if I talked about him. I said he was being paranoid. He said he saw a new tag on social media, and someone had sent him a clip. I asked who would send him that. He said he did not know, and his voice stayed flat. He asked what I meant by garage boy. I said it was a joke. He asked why the joke needed an audience. I said he was overreacting and acting insecure. He asked if I would want him joking about my job like that. I said my job was real, so it was different. He went quiet again. Then he asked me to stop letting people mock him. I said people mocked him because he acted mockable. I said he could fix that by growing up. The next day, we had a community hall fundraiser for the kids' school. It was one of those events where everyone tried to look kind and important at the same time. I wore a nice jacket and practiced a smile in the car mirror before we went in. Ethan carried a box of donated items. I walked ahead because I did not want to look like we were a unit. I wanted to look like I was my own person. Inside, I found Cara and Tori near the snack table. They waved and pulled me into their group. Ethan went to the other side of the room to help set up chairs. Cara leaned close and asked if Ethan had seen the clip. I said he had, and I said he was being dramatic. Tori asked if he sulked. I said yes, and I said he loved playing the victim. A few parents laughed. Someone asked what Ethan even did. I said he played designer and tried to sell passion projects to serious people. I said it was like living with a teenager who never outgrew toys. I kept my voice light, like it was harmless. That is the trick. If you smile, people think it is safe to laugh. I saw Patricia near the door. Ethan's mother had come to help with the fundraiser too. She walked past our group and slowed down. I knew she heard me. I expected her to snap, but she did not. She just looked at me like I was a stranger. Then she looked toward Ethan. She did not wave at me. That bothered me more than yelling would have. Later, Ethan walked by with a roll of tape. He asked if we could talk for a minute. I said we could talk at home. He asked why I kept making jokes in public. I said I was not making jokes. I was telling the truth. He asked if the truth had to be cruel. I said he was calling me cruel to control me. He asked if I would repeat my words right now, to his face, in the same tone. I said yes, because I was not scared. Then I heard a soft beep, quick and small, like a recording app starting. I looked at his phone in his hand. He did not point it at me. He just held it low near his side. He asked me again, calmly, what I thought of his work. I felt my throat tighten for 1 second. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself he was doing a weird intimidation trick. I said his projects were childish and embarrassing. I said he needed to stop pretending. I said if he wanted respect, he should earn it with real results. Ethan nodded once. He did not raise his voice. He did not insult me back. He just said, okay, like he was placing my words into a box. When we got home that night, he did not argue. He made the kids' lunches. He checked Maya's homework. He put Noah to bed. I watched him move through the house like a guest who knew the rules. It should have made me feel safe. Instead, it made me feel like I had lost something I could not name. In bed, I stared at my phone again. Brent asked if I could meet tomorrow. I typed yes. Then I erased it. Then I typed yes again and sent it. I told myself Ethan had pushed me here. I told myself my life was mine to take. Ethan lay facing the wall, and the silence between us felt like a door closing. The next week felt like a long hallway with doors closing one by one. Ethan did not explode. He did not shout. That was what I expected, and I hated that he refused to give me the scene I could use later. On Monday morning, I came into the kitchen and saw Ethan wiping the counter. 2 mugs sat apart again, like they belonged to 2 different houses. Maya was tying her hair with a ribbon. Noah was tapping a spoon on the table. Ethan asked if I could sign a school form. I said yes, but I did it with a sigh so he would feel like he owed me. He thanked me anyway. He asked if I could be home on time for pickup that day. He said Maya had asked if both parents could be there. I said work did not stop because a child wanted a picture-perfect moment. He said it was not about pictures. He said it was about stability. I told him he was using stability to control my schedule. He did not argue. He just looked at the clock and set a phone alarm that said paper drop. I saw it for a second. He turned the screen down again. At work, Brent kept texting. I told him I was busy, but I still answered. I liked the way he asked for me. He did not ask about the kids or bills. He asked if I missed him. That was easier. Cara told me in the group chat that Ethan was acting cold on social media. She said he had stopped liking posts and stopped commenting. I said he was doing it to punish me. Kara said I should stop caring and live my life. That afternoon, I went to the school pickup line late on purpose. I wanted Ethan to feel the stress because I told myself he needed to learn. When I pulled in, I saw him already there. His car was pointed toward the street like he was ready to leave fast. He sat with his hands on the wheel, still and quiet. When I parked behind him, he did not get out to greet me. That bothered me more than it should have. Maya came out first. She saw both cars and hesitated, like she had to choose a side. Ethan opened his door and waved her over calmly. I opened my door too and called her name. She walked to Ethan. I felt heat rise in my face. I told myself she did it because Ethan had trained her to feel sorry for him. In the car, Maya asked why we needed 2 cars at pickup. Ethan said it was just a busy day. Maya asked if we were fighting. Ethan said adults sometimes disagreed, but they would keep her safe. Maya looked at me in the mirror and asked if I was mad at Dad. I said Dad was mad at me, and I said he was acting strange lately. Ethan did not correct me, he just kept driving. At home, I tried to force normal. I asked Ethan what he wanted for dinner. He said he would cook something simple. I asked why he was being so quiet. He said he was tired. I asked tired of what? He said he was tired of being mocked. I laughed once and said he was being dramatic again. He said he did not want to argue in front of the kids. I said he always used the kids as a shield. He said he was using the kids as a reason to behave like an adult. That night, Sharon called me. She asked if Ethan was still acting like a victim. I said yes. I told her he was making the home tense and cold. Sharon said a man who could not take a joke was a weak man. I repeated her words back to Ethan later because I wanted them to land harder. Ethan listened and said nothing. He just rinsed his mug and set it on his side again. Then he opened a drawer near the hallway desk. I heard the click of a lock. He took out a small stack of papers and put them into a plain folder, then slid it back. I did not see what was on the pages. I only saw the movement, careful and practiced, like he had done it before. 2 days later, we had dinner with both families at a family restaurant. Long table, loud room, bright lights. I actually liked it at first because I thought Ethan would be forced to smile and behave. Public places were my favorite because I could perform. Patricia and Gordon arrived early. Patricia sat straight with her hands folded. Gordon looked at the menu, but kept watching the room. Sharon arrived with Leon and my sister Janelle. Sharon hugged me and asked, in a loud voice, if my husband was still playing business in the garage. I laughed and said yes. I glanced at Ethan to see his reaction. He kept his face neutral. That annoyed me. Neutral was a kind of refusal. The kids sat between us. Maya picked at her bread and looked at everyone's faces. Noah asked why Grandma Patricia looked mad. Patricia said she was not mad, she was just thinking. Sharon made a sound like a small snort. Sharon asked Ethan if he had sold any of his little toys yet. Ethan said he had a meeting coming up. Sharon asked with who. Ethan said he would handle it. Sharon said he sounded secretive. I said he was always secretive now, like he wanted to hide things from me. That was not true, but it sounded right in front of a crowd. Janelle looked at me and asked if I could stop. She said it was uncomfortable. I asked why she was defending him. I said she should support her sister. Janelle said she supported me, but she did not support cruelty. I felt my cheeks burn. I told her she was being moral for attention. Patricia finally spoke. She said she had watched me mock Ethan in front of people. She said it was not funny. I said it was not mocking, it was honesty. Patricia asked if honesty needed an audience. I said yes, because Ethan only changed when people saw the truth. Gordon asked me to lower my voice. I said Gordon always protected Ethan like Ethan was a child. Gordon said he protected what was right. Ethan sat there and listened, like he was taking notes inside his head. Sharon asked Ethan why he looked so calm. She said calm men were usually guilty. Ethan said he was calm because he was choosing to do things properly. Sharon laughed and asked what that meant. Ethan said it meant he would not fight at the table. Maya looked at Ethan and asked if we were going to live in 2 houses. Ethan paused. He said they would talk about plans soon, and she would always have both parents. I jumped in and said Dad was being dramatic and making big threats. Ethan looked at me and said quietly that he was not making threats. He said he was making decisions. After dinner, in the parking lot, Leon pulled me aside. He asked if I was telling the whole truth. I asked what he meant. He said Ethan did not look like a villain. He said Ethan looked like a man who had already accepted something painful. I told my dad he was falling for Ethan's act. Leon did not argue. He just sighed like he was tired. When we got home, I saw Ethan's laptop open on the corner of the kitchen table. A browser tab was up that said, "Notary near me." He clicked it closed the moment he noticed me. I asked what that was about. He said it was nothing important. I asked why he needed a notary for nothing. He said he was organizing life. That night, I lay in bed and tried to feel powerful again. I told myself I was still in control because Ethan had not left. I told myself he was bluffing. Then my phone buzzed with Brent's name, and I felt that warm pull again. I stared at the screen and thought about Ethan's calm face at the table, like he had already stepped away from me in his mind. I told myself the restaurant dinner was my chance to save Ethan. That is how I framed it in my head. If I could push him in front of real money people, maybe he would finally drop the garage fantasy and become the kind of husband I could respect. I said I was helping him. I said I was being a partner. I did not say the real part out loud, which was that I wanted the room to like me more than they liked him. Ethan had talked about this dinner for weeks. He said it was not a signed deal, but it was close. He said Devon Price and 2 other contacts were coming, and he wanted to show them a sample and a clear plan. He asked if I could come and just be kind. He said he needed me to be on his side for one night. I asked why he needed a babysitter for his confidence. He said he did not need a babysitter, he needed his wife. On the afternoon of the dinner, I came home from work and found Ethan in the garage, wiping dust off a small case. The case held his wooden pieces and a printed booklet. I could smell faint toner, like he had printed something late. A sticky note sat on the bench that said, "Bring forms." When he noticed me looking, he moved the note under the edge of the case like it was nothing. I asked what forms he meant. He said it was just product info. I said he was acting secretive again. He asked how he could be secretive when I mocked everything he touched. In the kitchen, I got ready. I put on a dress that made me feel sharp. I told myself I deserved to feel sharp. Ethan dressed in a simple button-up and checked his pockets 3 times, like he was afraid of forgetting something. He asked if we could leave early. I said he was always anxious and it was exhausting. He asked me once more not to joke about his work tonight. He asked me to treat it as real. I said if he wanted it treated as real, he needed to make it real first. He said it was becoming real, and that was why this dinner mattered. On the drive, he tried to talk about topics that were safe. He asked about Maya's school project. He asked if Noah still liked dinosaurs. I answered, but I kept my tone flat. In my mind, I was already at the table, already winning. My phone buzzed in my purse. I did not look at it while he was watching, but I knew it was Brent. That secret made me feel powerful and calm at the same time, like I had a backup plan for my own life. The restaurant had white tablecloths and soft light. The private room smelled like lemon and wine. Ethan introduced me to Devon Price and the others. Devon shook my hand and asked what I did. I said I managed client support and kept big accounts happy. Devon smiled like that mattered. I felt seen. Then Ethan started speaking about his designs. Ethan opened the small case and set the sample on the table. He explained the concept in a careful, clear way. He said his hobby had grown into a product idea, and he had tested it with small groups. He said he was ready to scale. He said he wanted a partner who understood how people buy stories, not just objects. He looked at Devon when he said that, like he was offering something honest. I could have let him have that moment. I could have just nodded and smiled. But the room felt too quiet, like the attention was on him, and it made me itch. So I laughed lightly and tilted my head like I was cute. Devon looked at me and asked what was funny. I said Ethan always loved his little projects, and I said it was adorable how he acted like a garage passion was a business plan. I said it in a sweet voice. That is important. If you sound sweet, people hesitate to call you cruel. Ethan's face tightened for 1 second. He asked me, softly, to please stop. I said I was not stopping anything. I was adding reality. Devon asked what I meant by garage passion. I said Ethan got very excited, but he sometimes forgot what grown-up business looked like. I said he could get lost in details like a kid with a toy set. I watched the clients' faces. One of them smiled politely, but not warmly. Devon's eyes flicked to Ethan's hands. Kara was there too, because I had insisted we make it social. She sat close and laughed a little too loud, like she was my cheer squad. She asked Ethan if he ever planned to get a real office. Ethan said he already used a co-working space sometimes. Kara asked if it was like playing pretend in a fancy room. I smiled, and I let the joke breathe. Ethan tried to keep going. He explained pricing and timelines. He explained materials. He explained delivery steps. I interrupted again and said he should not scare them with tiny details when it was basically a hobby. Devon asked if I supported Ethan's work. I said I supported him as a person, but I said I did not want him to embarrass himself. I said I was protecting him from disappointment. Ethan asked me, in a low voice, why I was doing this. I said I was saving him from looking foolish. I said if he could not take a joke, he could not handle real clients anyway. Ethan turned back to Devon and apologized for the distraction. Devon said it was fine, but his tone changed. Ethan continued, but I could feel the room slipping. I told myself that was Ethan's fault for building a fragile dream. I told myself I was only telling the truth. When dessert came, I made a small speech. I said I was proud of Ethan for trying, and I said trying was the first step to finally growing up. I said it with a laugh, and Kara laughed with me. The client smiled in that stiff way people do when they want the moment to end. Ethan looked down at his plate. He did not defend himself. That should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like a door closing quietly. On the way out, Devon shook Ethan's hand again. He shook mine too, but he did not hold my gaze. One of the other contacts said they would follow up. Ethan nodded like he understood the code. In the car, Ethan did not speak for most of the drive. I told myself he was sulking to punish me. When we got home, the driveway lights flicked on. Ethan sat in the parked car for a moment, hands still on the wheel. He asked why I needed to humiliate him. I said I did not humiliate him. He humiliated himself by pretending. He said he had asked for one night of basic respect. I said respect follows results, and I said he still did not have results. He looked at the house, at the dark windows, like he was measuring something. Then he looked back at me. He said he would handle it properly. I walked into the tower lobby to talk sense into Ethan. He stood by the concierge with Patricia and Gordon, calm like a stranger. A security guard called my name and handed me a packet. Ethan said he filed for divorce and requested temporary orders. He said the house would be his residence for now, and my access would be scheduled. He said our accounts were frozen except for approved bills, and child exchanges would follow a plan. I tried to laugh and said he was overreacting. The guard asked me to step aside. The paper shook in my hands.